Okay, welcome back to the Rad Hyrox podcast. We are joined today by the brains behind the Hyrox Workouts Instagram page. It's one that we've used a lot and we know a lot of people follow as soon as they get into Hyrox. Steve and Francesca, they are 20 years experience in the health and performance industry, so they are absolute experts, which is why this page is probably doing so well. They race mixed doubles recently in Manchester, getting a PB. And we're here to find out, what inspired you to start the Hyrox Workouts page and where all this training information and advice is coming from and how we get more. So welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
So the Instagram page really came about from one of our gym members who was doing CrossFit at another gym said, "Oh, you want to look at Hyrox?" And obviously we'd never heard of it at the time, like no one else had.
When was that?
2 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm guessing that was maybe 2 years ago. So sort of had a look at what it was, and it looked horrendous. I remember showing you it. What was your response?
I won't be doing that.
No. It was one of those ones where it was like, I looked at it, I thought, right, I've got a ton of injuries from years of training, and I've prolapsed the disc in my back, and I thought, I wonder if I can actually do what's in it. So after each weight session, because all we did was weights, it'd be just try one of the moves. So it'd be like, okay, let's see how wall balls are. Let's see how next time our burpees. And after sort of 8 goes of that, it was like, actually, if I can do it, I reckon anybody can give this a go.
Yeah, it was a running.
Oh yeah, we were terrible at running. We weren't good at any of it.
No. So basically, I've not got any fitness background. I've got no qualifications. So I've always trained though, and I've always loved training from a young age. And I met Steve through so I'm an accountant. The brilliance of this is that I'm doing it from a different perspective with Steve. So I met Steve through being his accountant. Long story short, 5 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I trained at Code Fitness. Then we got together. I said to him years before Hyrox came about, I'd love it if we did some like fast-paced training together or something. And you said,
well, I was never going to do that. I wasn't going to do HIIT classes at the gym.
No.
Then I'd be like, this is pointless. It's stupid. It's horrible.
He just trains slow and steady, which I'm quite energetic and hyperactive. So I wanted to do all that. So when we did slow, steady training, I used to do that with the weights. And Steve had like really fast and slow 6 reps, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd lift heavy, so I'd need long rests. But that's what I like training.
Whereas I'd be like, what's next? What next? Because I like doing more. I wasn't a runner, but I wanted to learn to get strong and to come from like boot camp style training that I used to do 6-7 years ago to then do slow and steady. So I progressed to doing my own pull-ups, and I progressed to doing really good press ups, and even a one hand like clap press ups, you know. So I was focused on strength work, and you was coming from a strength background. So when we discovered Hyrox and you wanted to do it, I was like, I'm not doing that. But then we started trying bits, didn't we? And
yeah, I thought it'd just be, I just saw it as a completely different challenge. There was no intention of even competing at that time, or we're now a Hyrox affiliated gym. My gym's Hyrox affiliated, which is Code Fitness. So I've owned a gym for 10 years now. And yeah, we then became Hyrox affiliated and then got the members involved in it as well. And I think at the last one in Birmingham, we had about 40 of us from the gym there. So that was a really good day out. And it's just, we were just like, look, if we're enjoying it, surely everyone else is going to. And it's just taken off. I think you either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
And I'm still not sure if I love it or hate it.
I know.
I'm trying to work it out.
I don't. The beauty of what we're doing. So I've always said to Steve that online training is the way forward. And it is. Like a lot of people are doing PT online. But actually, so Steve's background's training for sports performance. So he's like done local footballers and, well, not local, Premier League footballers. And he used to tell me stories of how he made them faster, sharper, this, that, the other. So when it became, we was into Hyrox, we were talking and you said, I'm going to do some Hyrox workout plans and sell it and put them online and whatnot. And it was, honestly, I remember you worked lots of weekends to get them ready. Did you launch, I think it was September 2022, you launched your Instagram page, or was it just before that? You got the Hyrox
Yeah.
Workouts page early, didn't you?
But the Instagram page wasn't to sell the books. The Instagram page
No, not at first.
was just because there's Hyrox Daily were doing bits. And then I thought, I want to put out some workouts, but I want to sort of try and help people get better and give more training information. And that's what the Instagram page started at. And then it was like, and it just started slowly, and it took a while to start building up. Now
think it did.
Well, I don't know. It was steady compared to now. Now it probably gets about 1,500
Yes, because
followers.
I've joined on.
Now you got an accountant. Now you got an accountant with you. Now the numbers
I'm not
are
your
moving.
typical accountant, kids.
Yeah. Even at the beginning, it was messaging someone. And this is what's good about Hyrox. Everybody's just nice and friendly. Like, you'll know when you're asking people to do your podcast, people want to help. So I reached out to like Megan Jacoby at the time, and I did a collaboration with her on one of the workouts, and she was like, yeah, use my pictures, do this.
Did you do that?
Why not? All they can say is no.
I know, but you just started. Honestly, I know you spent so much time researching and looking into it and how it could help people, and the fact that you reached out, because not a lot of people like to direct message anybody anyway, do they? So it's a good thing you started collaborating with loads of them.
Yeah,
for that,
and the way I've done it collaborating with people is just pick anybody. I don't go, oh, how many followers have they got?
Yeah.
I'll try and collaborate with somebody with loads of followers. At the beginning, I was trying to get some of the more known names into it, whereas now it's just, I'll see somebody's pictures, I'll like, they've got some crazy tattoos, and I'll message them, can I use your photos? Or that's a crazy hairdo or whatever. I like your pictures, can I use your pictures? And whether they've got 20 followers or 20,000 followers, it doesn't really matter. And all I wanted with those workouts was one, them to be good workouts and people to do them, but also so they visually look good. So it wasn't just writing on an Instagram page. I wanted to include people's pictures. I knew how I wanted it to look, and that's sort of what I've stuck with.
You have, yeah.
I don't think we've answered the question, have we, what you asked at the beginning?
What did you ask?
No idea.
I think I just said hello, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it's brilliant. This is what we wanted to know.
Yeah.
It might have been why we started.
Yeah,
I was going to say something else.
I think I said, why did you start? I think I said, like, we
Yeah.
were interested in how the Hyrox Workouts Instagram page started.
But the only, so the difference, so when you started doing it at first, I said, why don't we put the human touch in it? Because there was a lot of workout programs and this, that, the other. And we're following your workouts anyway. Let's share the journey. And that's what we've started doing, progressing on that. So people like watching our YouTube videos and how well we're doing on them. So we got a big PB in January, and it was just like, yes, it's working, sort of thing. So we put a lot of effort into it.
But our
proving the concept
for a lot of people was rubbish. So our time was 1 hour and 10. For a lot of people, it would be like, oh, that isn't that great. It is for what we've come from and where we started.
We were bad at running. Like, we've put so much effort into running. It's ridiculous how much time we spend.
We're getting better.
Yeah.
I think that's what's nice about Hyrox, though, is that you've got your own like goal. You know, you're trying to get your PB for your rate. It's not necessarily always about getting on the podium or being the fastest. It's like it's a very good way to like compare like your performance in a certain amount of time and show, like you say, prove the concept that your training is working and that your workouts are working, because you've got something to compare it on. But I want to know, what's the dynamic racing together? I mean, who's in control there? Are you a good team?
I'm pretty bossy.
Yeah, you probably more know what we're doing. I time how long we've been running for. So we've got a rough idea if we're going in at the right time. But sometimes you'll say, are we going in? I'll be like, oh, I didn't press the button on the WhatsApp time. And I'll just go, yeah, if you think it's free, it's definitely free.
We don't speak.
Can't speak.
We don't speak. We just get read down. We know we're doing 50-50, and that's that. 50-50 on everything. And we just go for it, don't we? Don't speak, maybe do a little nod or us knock him or whatever. Or some. Last time we did it, we got it filmed, and forever I was looking behind me, like, because you kept training behind me.
Once, and then
trying to look at me. I thought, you're ruining our time here. Hurry up.
And Manchester was your second time racing. You've done it.
So we've done it.
No, the last Manchester one would have been the 4th time.
We've done 4 races.
Oh, you've done 4. Oh, amazing.
Yeah, we've done quite a few now. Yeah.
All as mixed doubles.
All as mixed doubles. Yeah.
You fancy giving a solo a go at all each?
So we did
We
did
was gonna-
say yes, we was going to do October, and I was going to do pro women, and then you was going to do men's solo. But because we got such a big PB, we're in our flow of it, and we're doing
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I want to break that, even though I'd like to do a solo one day, maybe.
I think when we, I think because we still think we can get, well, probably sub 110 in London, hopefully.
Oh,
And then
the pressure.
Birmingham, just making numbers up now,
Yeah.
105.
That's it
Not
now.
that
You've said
we're
it.
gonna keep, not that I'm going to keep going like that. We're going to be breaking all
I'll
records.
be ending up
But
with a bad back.
I think it's just because we can see ourselves getting better
Yeah.
and better.
Mm,
And because I still think that we're still not very good at running.
mm.
So I still think we can get quite a bit better.
Well, we're trying to get a sub 45-minute 10K.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
our next
fair.
little mini goal. What are we at round about now?
We haven't
Probably-
actually done it. We've been doing more
We've done-
9Ks, haven't we?
Yeah, we've done 9K in 9.36 in 45 minutes.
Oh, okay.
We've only got 700.
It's not
Yeah, it's not
far
far off.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
That's good.
Neither of you, sorry, neither of you are from a running background.
No.
No, not at all.
No, not at all. So
No.
the whole running journey has kind of been new to both of you.
Yeah.
My first run on the treadmill, it was right. Let's see if I can run a kilometre.
Yeah.
I thought I'll just
Wow.
see if I can do it because I didn't even know if I could because I haven't ran. The last time I'd have ran was when I boxed 20 years ago. So it was
Oh.
just running on the treadmill, then going, all right, I can do a kilometre. And then it's like, okay. And then it was hard. And then
Yeah.
just kept working at it and chipping away. And that's it. Now, what's the longest run we've done together?
20 kilometers. I
About
think.
20 kilometres. No, I never thought I'd ever run 20 kilometres.
That's
One, it would have been,
amazing.
what's the point? And two, it would have been, I just wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah.
So we've just steady, just sticking to the plan. We're very
Yeah.
consistent, aren't
Yeah. Disciplined.
we? Yeah.
Yeah, consistency and discipline. It's like
Yeah.
that's how you get the results, isn't it?
Yeah.
Chipping
Yeah,
away and
definitely.
keeping that consistency. So taking you guys back, so for both of you, you just mentioned Steve that you did boxing when you were younger. What kind of sports were you into when you were you into sports when you were kids or
Football as a kid, and then boxing and kickboxing probably probably early 20s, and then had kids, and then everything sort of went out the window a bit.
Got a dad bod.
And
and then decided to get massive in the gym?
and then got massive. Yeah, it was easier to get massive and keep eating than it was to stay fit. So so my background with any of that myself is nothing really. I've always then trained in the gym. As I said, I've owned a gym 10 years. I've been a PT probably, I don't know, I'm just guessing now, 15 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've always been doing bits, but nothing to do with endurance, nothing to do with running.
But
That's
then
what I like about this. It's a completely different challenge.
yeah, totally. And you spoke about doing like strength and conditioning, I guess, for Premier League footballers. How did you get
Yeah.
into that? Was that
where I was personal training.
Start name
Yeah.
dropping.
I want
Yes,
names and people.
come on, we want some names.
Okay, so the very first personal trained was Patrick Bamford, who at the moment he's playing for Leeds. And I started training him when he was at Chelsea, but I can't remember what clubs he was playing at. It was really low down. And it was good to work with him and see him progress and progress and progress. One of the biggest progressions was probably training Ryan Yates, who's at Nottingham Forest. So when I was training him, he went from non-league football, who was on loan at, to then next season being a division above, next above, then Division 1, then Championship, and now playing Premiership football.
Amazing.
Or Jamal Lascelles was a good one. He went from Forest to Newcastle, and he was captain of Newcastle for however long. And then Matty Cash, who plays for Aston Villa. So yeah, and then a few others. I've just enjoyed doing it. And I'd say what it was, the first one was I trained somebody else who was a friend of his. I didn't know anything about him. He was like quite a high level cyclist back in the day. And he goes, he said to Patrick, he says, you need to come and train with Steve. So when Patrick came in with his dad, I didn't know who he was. I thought he must be at Chelsea youth team or whatever. And I was chatting to him and his dad was like, oh no, he doesn't play for the youth team. I was like, oh, I wasn't meaning to offend anybody. I didn't know who he was, but And then, so yeah, it's good to then see him progress. Then after I trained him, it was nice. I was on holiday, I got a phone call from Jamal Lascelles. Again, at the time, I'm thinking, who? So
Yeah, okay.
until I Googled him, it's like, oh, he plays centre back for Nottingham Forest. All right, okay. And he's off to play for Newcastle. So Patrick Bamford had then recommended him. And then they all just come from recommendations, really.
That's amazing. That's like one of the most that's the most incredible way to get work, isn't it? From
Yeah.
recommendations. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
you're doing a good job. I mean, that just shows the experience that's behind this page, which is something that's really like that I wanted to find out, like where the experience was and where, you know, you can just see now from your experience working with Premiership footballers, being in strength and conditioning and doing Hyrox yourselves, where it all comes
Yeah.
from. How about you, Francesca? You said you've been into sport and training for a while,
Yeah,
like your whole life.
yeah.
What's your background as well?
So I did a lot of so when I was a kid, I got into my mum's workout videos.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Come on, we've all done that, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah.
We've all done that. So I had kids quite young, and I loved a bit of Davina McCall. I won't lie.
I was just about to say, Davina, I've done a few of them in my living room.
That's it. So I did a lot of stuff that you can be at home, and I did do some shorter runs, and I'd run probably 4 or 5K. This was
Okay.
going back years ago. And then I did some Joe Wicks. I started in the gym in 2016, and I got a PT at the time to improve on my strength. And I was skinny arms, weak looking. I was quite strong, but not I wanted to be really strong. So then I started my strength training from 2016, started at Code Fitness in 2019. And that's when I got to grips with doing some pull-ups and the press-ups and all that, the lower body training. So I was really strong, ready for Hyrox, because I got on with the men's weights all right, didn't I? Really?
Yeah. You're comfortable with them straight.
Yeah, the wall balls, I had to work at it, but I started on 6 kg straight away. Did some 9 kg yesterday, but that killed me.
Oh, yeah.
So I've always been into fitness. So I did a lot of shorter runs, but I stopped cardio because I got told that you need to, for women, train with strong weights and don't do any cardio. So my running stopped. But I stopped running when I suffered with shin splints. And then when we started running again in 2022, I started with my shin splints again, but I managed to wear the right trainings and do all the right things to get rid of them and have not come back, touch wood.
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is, I mean, a lot about recovery as well, and how you program your training and the kit you wear. You know, trainers are important. Some people think, oh, I can just go out and go for a run. But if you've had your trainers in the cupboard for 15 years, then you might want to look at getting some new ones, we'll come on to trainers in a little bit though. I want to ask what your first impressions of the race were when you first went to your Hyrox race. Like, how did you feel on the day? How did you find the setup, the atmosphere? Like, overwhelming, exciting? What was the first experience?
We'll both find it different, won't we? So our first one was Manchester. I loved everything about it apart from the end of the race, and maybe all of the race actually, but the actual venue, the setup, the atmosphere, the music, the people, the support, I just thought this is amazing. And the fact that every normal day people like us were there just going, oh, we can get involved in this. And because it was all how it's set up where everybody can watch and it's all together, it's not like a marathon where somebody run past you once and it's like, all right, see you later. How it's set up is so good. And I loved it. But then when I finished doing the first race, I couldn't even do the wall balls at the end. I was dead.
No, I had to do more.
You had to do more. I couldn't do it. I couldn't hit the target.
You was burnt out.
And then I had to sit down for 20 minutes, and I was thinking, I'm never, ever doing this again. What person would put themselves through this and think it's fun?
And I was buzzing at the end of it.
And literally, I was there sitting down dying. 20 minutes later, I was like, Francesca, I booked our next one.
No, you didn't. You did book it.
We're doing it straight away. It was one of those ones where it was horrendous at the time, but then it was like, they're so addictive. We're
so competitive. I go to a dark place before doing it because I know it hurts. We push ourselves to the absolute max. I don't like the whole thing, if I'm honest. I don't like the loud noise. I don't like people getting in my way. I just have to really zone out because the music, and it's all too much. But because I say to you, don't I just want the end. At the end, I'm loving it, absolutely buzzing. but the pre-race nerves are very real, and everyone in my way and stuff like that. I just can't stand it.
Like even now, when we go to the event and we'll stay there the night before and the day and the night after that, I want to go and watch people racing beforehand. You don't want anything to do with it.
I don't want anything to do with it. I really want to stay away if I can help it, because I need to be calm. I need to be quiet. Steve watched that before I won in Birmingham.
Yeah, that weren't great though.
No,
we had loads of people from the gym going, so I watched near enough everybody race before we raced. So by the time I came to race, I was exhausted. Yeah, I was actually exhausted.
Yeah.
But one thing we have always done, whatever race we've done, it's been max effort. So, you know, like people go, oh, do your first one, just enjoy it. No, go there, put in the best effort you can.
Yeah.
And then if you can beat that time next time, you know you're getting better. We didn't cruise the first one and then go, we've just got a 5-minute PB. No. It weren't like that. We was like, flat out. There's been nothing left on.
No, we're redlining all the way through. Yeah. It's painful.
But that's what made that, again, that's what I like about it.
We kill ourselves.
We are selling this race here.
Oh, yeah.
Just redline it the whole way through. It's awful. I can't wait for the finish. No, but I do agree with you saying about like the atmosphere, like you were exhausted watching everyone racing all day. Like a lot of people have said recently, you know, I've seen like on Instagram, on other pages as well, like top tips of don't go to the race too early. You know, like you don't want to be there all day getting exhausted, all the adrenaline, and then you go to race at 6 p.m. and you're like, I've got nothing. Like try and time it so if you are listening and going to your first race soon, you know, you don't have to be there hours and hours in advance. You can just be there for, and obviously enough time to warm up and suss it out and like get used to where the stations are, but you don't have to spend all day, as much as you might like to spend all day cheering everyone on. It does, I think, take its toll on you. Like
that's probably you're lucky if you can get your race to race in the morning, so you can get yours out the way and then enjoy the rest of the day. Because if it's later on, it is a little bit like, oh, you do want to be watching, you do want to be part of it and see people. And say everybody's so friendly, it's good to see people, but then it does then affect your race. So it's a little bit like,
you want to race in the morning, really, don't you? Like that's like optimum to then be able to cheer for everyone on.
Definitely.
So what's the next one you guys are doing at London? Did you say?
So yeah, so what's that? 6 weeks?
Yeah, 6 weeks, 5 weeks.
5 weeks,
something like that. Oh, God.
Yeah, so we've done that one before.
Yeah, we did London Olympia last year. That's the one. So if I hit a certain heart rate, what I'm learning through my zone, I reckon if I hit around 180, that's when I start feeling sick. So when we did Manchester 23, I was okay through it. But when we did Hyrox, London Olympia, I felt sick twice, didn't I? And it was horrible, where I was like literally thinking I was going to throw up. Even though I felt like my fitness is a lot better, I feel like if you're hormonal that weekend or your heart rate's that slightly elevated, it just makes me feel horrendous. And that happened for that one and Birmingham. But then January 24, just gone, Manchester, that didn't happen. So I checked my heart rates, and it's when it hits 180. So that's what I've got to be careful of, I think, so I don't feel completely disgusting.
Yeah, that's super interesting. And it is like racing in a like exhibition hall, I guess most of them are. Like it is hot and the ventilation isn't always great, is it? And I mean, we raced London Olympia. I didn't feel great at the beginning. I remember trying to look for a bin. I was like,
seriously?
I was like, oh my God, there's one bin on a run and that is it. And like I got over it after a while, but like I had like a wave where I was like, oh God, what
was it after?
Probably after the sleds.
Yeah, mine was after the sleds. Yeah, and burpees. Mine happened.
I think I got really hot in there as well. I just got like so warm.
Some venues are definitely hotter.
Yeah, that was the hottest I think we've been in, because the sun was coming through.
Yeah, I think it was just a really nice day. Yeah, it's got the balcony.
It's a good venue though.
Yeah,
it's an awesome venue.
Yeah, to be fair, they're all good venues. I think they're all really good.
Yeah,
I've got a favourite though, haven't I?
Manchester.
We'll talk about that. I think that's one of the questions.
Yeah, you got to say that.
It might be Manchester, it might not be Manchester.
Might not be. Stay tuned. Keep listening.
Yeah.
But what about you touched on their heart rate. So do you train a lot to heart rate, or your background, Steve, do you do a lot of programming with heart rate, or is that just race day because you can't get the paces as such on the runs? Or delve into that a bit more.
With on race day, the heart rate monitor's purely worn just to look at it afterwards and go, look, we're in the red for all of it. That was mental. That's it. Or have I got a new maximum heart rate? We're not racing and going, right, a heart rate's at 170, slow it up, or it's at one something, we can go harder. So guarantee I'll look at my heart rate and you go, oh my God, my heart rate's at 180.
That'll panic
and,
me.
and we're only part way through it.
Yeah.
So the heart rates for that is just to look at afterwards.
Yeah.
Heart rate training though, before it, 100%. Yeah, we use heart rate for near enough everything.
Yeah.
It's a really good guide, and the more you do it, the more you can tailor it to yourself rather than just doing it off strict percentages, because everybody will be slightly different. But I don't think people are that far different. And like we use MyZone. With MyZone, if you do a proper maximum heart rate test, which is horrible, it will set your maximum heart rate for your watch, rather than just doing it as the old 220 minus your age rough guide for it. MyZone will then set a maximum heart rate. So my maximum heart rate is set higher than what the calculation is. So, and then when we're doing our other training, if we're doing anaerobic threshold work, we definitely look on the heart rate. Even when we're doing the slower, steadier zone 2 runs, okay, heart rate isn't the best way of doing it, but most people aren't going to get lactate tests. There's a better way still, and that's just using the torque test, but we'll still keep an eye on what our heart rate is. And a big part of that is for planning and programming. And this is something that I'll talk about quite a bit. If every session people do is really, really hard, none of your sessions are really hard, because you just can't work really hard 6 days a week. You'll just get, rather than being able to work really hard, you won't be able to work that hard because you haven't recovered from what you've done before. So then you just work all around it. And a lot of people, I think, are guilty of that. Whereas if you have days where you go, right, this is your hard day, and then it's hard, and then this is your moderate day, and you know your heart rate's going to be 150 or whatever you're doing, and this is your easier day. It's a far better way for long-term development, progression, and actually enjoying your training.
Yeah, but I don't enjoy my hard days.
When it's hard though, it is hard. When we're doing VO2 max intervals, you're then doing it and you go in, you can't work any harder.
No.
But we know when we're doing them, we haven't tried to do that for every session of the week. So but yeah, heart rate training, I think, is key. And it's nowhere near as complicated. I think you said that on our last YouTube video. It's nowhere near as complicated as people might think.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be really difficult. I've got some influencers that I follow on Instagram because they inspire me, and they talked about heart rate training about 4 years ago, and I'd be like, oh no, it's too complicated for me. And actually it's so easy, but you have to invest in a lot of gadgets. But the reason why we do invest in all those things is because of how much we want to develop on it, and it does make it worthwhile. But yeah, so I've got a hard day. I think we're doing our VO2 max training on Wednesday, but I work in an office and I've got a team to look after, and I've had to adapt basically working to fit in my training, and that has been a massive challenge. To anyone out there that's doing that, like, please comment, let me know there's more of you, because you find with Hyrox, you always think it's just personal trainers doing it. But I did a post in the community page and seeing if there's any other accountants out there that are actually racing. I'm on LinkedIn with it as well, and a few people have come and reached out to me saying that they do a lot of hard training for work, so it's really good actually.
But when people commented the jobs, it was a right mix of people.
Yeah, there was a mix of people. Sorry, Emma.
No. Do you tend to do all your training in the mornings or the evenings, or would you tend to, if you could, do the harder training later on in the day, or do you prefer to get it out the way?
Well, we go around my schedule, don't we? So sometimes if I have an early meeting, we try and fit it in around lunch or an afternoon slot. And also because of mixed doubles, it's normally in the afternoons now on the events. We try and fit in that, so I've got food all day in me, but ideally we like to do it around 7:30 in the morning, don't we?
Works with kids and everything else.
I've had to embrace not wearing much makeup for work just because of time. I just shower and I'll go with wet hair.
Yeah, just
they're used to me now.
Anything to fit the session in, get it done.
Honestly.
Oh, absolutely. And what about highs and lows in your journey? Have there been any standout points with Hyrox, whether it's starting the Instagram or in your races where you felt like you've been on a real high, or any injuries for a low?
I've got loads of highs and loads of lows, and we've only been doing it a year and a half or whatever.
Yeah, not even that.
Obvious high is how well I'd say the Hyrox Instagram page has grown, and
Yeah.
I've got one of the nicest messages I've ever had from a bloke who works in a fire station. and they've got on their wall all the workouts like printed off on their wall. And he started doing it, and then he encouraged some of the others to do it, and just saying about how much it changed their lives and that. And it's just like, it's just really nice to hear, because you know when you just get a like on a post, it's just a like on a post. It doesn't really mean anything. So I really like it when we get messages from people saying, "Oh, I followed your program and I've now got this much for a PB," or "I've followed the ones on Instagram, I'm doing this," or "I've changed what I'm doing." And yeah, it's really nice to have a impact on people's lives. So some of the highs are probably the messages of people and knowing we're helping people. Other highs is, so the gym that we're in now, we bought the land and built the gym. So it was a purpose-built gym for ourselves, but we then did a big Hyrox area outside last summer, which is amazing. And then just before Christmas this year, we extended the mezzanine inside, which was probably one of the stupidest things anybody could do, because it's a perfectly working, fairly new gym. And we dug up the whole of the floor to be able to extend the mezzanine by, we've added about, what is it? It's probably 15 meters by 15 meters, say. But that's just an area then just dedicated to Hyrox and functional training. So we've actually changed the whole gym around. So the lower that was when we're in the gym and they started pouring the concrete and the gym was open and there's concrete just coming through all of it onto all of the kit. And that was one of the lows. That was a tough,
and that's why I was training for Hyrox Manchester. So what happened? So so my high then going on from that. So we've done 4. So the first one we did an hour and 19. Then the second 2 we did around an hour and 16. And then I was like, if we don't get a PB, I put that much pressure on myself for Manchester. I thought we've trained hard. I cried twice during training in January. I changed my diet. I honestly, I've got a Whoop to track my sleep and recovery. You had all that stuff go on with the gym. So you were stressed from that. And actually, we got our heads down and we did it. And then we got an hour and 10 in Manchester, January 24 in a year. So we've knocked off like a good 9 minutes, 10 minutes. And that was a massive high. I was literally sat on the chair in the recovery bit, like buzzing, because we'd got that time. I thought, oh my God, this effort is worth it.
I know sometimes you just don't think you're going to get there, do you? You're like, oh, is it going to happen? And you invest so much, like you say, in your like even changing your diet and tracking your sleep and stuff.
I did all
and
sorts.
Just think, come on, please. Well, it shows it does work. It does work.
The only thing I did think though after that, I did actually say to him, I don't want to do any more. Let's just go off on a high, because I put that much effort in, it exhausted me. I thought, well, let's just stop here. And then he was like, no, we've got a London Olympia.
But now, are you back in it? Is it like, I guess, because the gym's finished now, the refurb's finished?
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Yes, brilliant. It's a brilliant area. So yeah, we already had a bit upstairs where we've got a carpet very similar to Hyrox, which we've had that for when we built the gym. So that was good. But yeah, the new area is excellent. It just makes training a lot easier when we've got,
this is how serious we are.
got all the Hyrox kit, got the area to do it.
Yeah,
it's one of those ones where you kind of go, you've got no excuses.
Yeah.
Like I know we had stress for the one in January.
No, it's horrendous.
But training had actually gone well. We had no excuses not to do it because of training. We had a really good 8 weeks specific prep phase.
I had some stuff going on at work that stressed me out internally, and I just thought, oh God, I nearly gave up in January. And then even in the hotel, what was I like?
Enough to make me never want to do a Hyrox ever again after spending that weekend at the hotel with you.
I just get to say we need to. I start right. I went through our strategy about 20 times. I bet you just ignored me. I was like, how can we shave off this minute here? And then if we just did this, and I was gunning for it.
That's an accountant's brain, that is. Like strategy, planning it all out. Where can we get the little margins?
I did. Yeah, definitely.
We've had loads of injuries as well.
Loads.
Like I had issues with my knee. And that was what fixed that was just a little insole off Amazon. So the physio treated it. It was like, there's not a lot going on wrong here. And it was like a £10 insole. And that completely fixed it. Yeah. And it was like, all right. So it's just some of the things along the way. And I think what am I now? 43?
Yeah,
I'm old. So injuries you get now, they're kind of for keeps. So it does make things harder.
Yeah.
So
But his mentality is so strong, it's ridiculous. He'd rather die than get no time or to beat your time, wouldn't you? You're better than me than that.
I'd say I'm probably mentally strong. When people go, your body can do way more than what your mind will let you.
Yeah.
And it won't.
You're the other way around. You let your mind
my
take
mind, my mind will let me do anything. It's my body that will go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing this for? Are you trying to prove something to
Yeah,
us?
you kill yourself. Like, I came up the other day from him doing some running. So we do VO2 max training, and my cut-off point is probably 16.5 on the runner. And Steve, I came up and I could hear him like because he was like finishing in the run, didn't I? And he was just dripping in sweat. And I was like, you're gonna kill yourself.
Yeah, I'll play the game, see if I can get a new maximum heart rate. We don't play that game, that's a stupid game.
That's a stupid game, but yeah.
Have you got a defib in your gym?
He has actually.
Yeah. Next to the treadmill.
Just in case. Yeah, we get it ready and loaded to go.
So I mean, that's quite a good segue onto whether you think Hyrox is more physical or mental.
Good one.
Like percentage wise, or when you get to a certain point in the race, like how do you get over that mental battle if you want to give up? Or how did you get to the start line, Francesca, in Manchester? Like,
by the time the anticipation kills me. So when I'm there, I get more in the zone and I'm all right. I'm in the start tunnel. I get all over excited. Steve goes quiet then, don't you?
But I like it. I like the tunnel.
But he is very quiet in the tunnels. I'm like trying to pretend to dance and dig my legs around, and you're just stood there ignoring me. So I look right, idiot. So when I'm there, but all the way around, I just need to get to that next bit. I just need to get to, you can do it, because obviously a lot of self-talk. That's what I do with myself, but just talk to myself.
And you can't think too far ahead.
No.
If you're thinking about the wall balls and you're on the ski erg, that's going to be a long day for you.
Yeah.
You just need to keep thinking, do the run, do the next bit.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you've done that, do the run, do the next bit. Just thinking what's coming next. But what I liked about Manchester was once we've done the burpees, as you're running round, you can see people doing their burpees. And I just kept thinking, at least we're not them doing burpees. We've done that.
Yeah.
And then you're then thinking, I've done the hardest bit. And I think that by the time you finish doing the burpees and you've got through that bit of a run, you've done the hardest bit. It's definitely 2 halves to the race.
I'll tell you what ruined me though in that race, when you said to me after our first run, we haven't run fast enough. And I was thinking, this is because I'm the strategy one that does all the pacing. I was like, this is the pacing to the exact of what I thought. You definitely said that.
Yeah, because it took us 5 minutes, I think, or 5 minutes 10. I said, we're going too slow.
No, but that was fine, because you always have to go a little bit because of the rock zone. Anyway, later on, I heard him say, we're on for a good time here. And I was so confused. I just don't want to hear you say those things.
Well, I looked up at the clock at that point and I thought, hold on, quick bit of maths in my head. Yeah. Even though I'm absolutely knackered, if we've only got wall balls and run, then we're doing all right here.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
But so
it's quite hard to tell though. I remember when we were doing our second one in Manchester, and I looked at because I started my Garmin at the start thinking like I probably won't really look at it because it doesn't really help with pacing, and we're just going to go for it. And I think when it got to like the lunges, I was like, I think we're doing all right. But like you say, I tried to do a bit of mental maths, tired, and I was just like, I don't really know. I think we just have to keep going. It's quite hard to like gauge how you're doing, and like especially even in the heats, because you don't really know if the people that you're close to are even in the same heat as you. So it's just a bit of a like push it, try as hard as you can and see what happens at the end, isn't it?
It was, I'd worked out we're on for a good time, but it was only when we crossed the finish line that I knew I'd worked it out right. I could have easily worked it out wrong, then crossed the finish line and gone, But no, we saw the time and it was like,
But also during it, when he said we're not run fast enough, because you're that tired, I was thinking, I don't care. I was thinking, I don't care if I don't get a PB now. Don't matter, just get through it. But I know at the end I would have been like disappointed. But during it, you actually don't care because you're like off battling whether to stop.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a total battle the whole time, and you're giving everything you think you can give anyway. So you're kind of like.
Is that what you guys feel like when you're doing it then?
Yeah, I definitely think I agree with you about it's definitely a 2-part race. Like the first half, I always feel like, I mean, we've only done a couple, but the first, like the run into the ski into the run.
Yeah.
And then onto the sled. I just, at that point, I'm like, oh shit. Like,
am I going to get through this?
Yeah. And then it kind of gets to, once you get to the row, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
it switches. So
Flows then.
you've got to almost stick with it at the beginning, and just, I think once you recognize that that's going to happen, just
Yeah, I know,
accept.
'cause it's pain, isn't it? It's that,
Yeah.
that's why it's like the anticipation. That's why it gets to me, because I know what's coming. The
Mm.
very first one, I wish I could just go back to that feeling that you just don't kind of know.
Yeah, it's almost better not to know, but it's heart rate, isn't it? You know, once you go out at the start, like your heart rate just spikes, and like you say,
Yeah.
it stays there, and you're
Yeah.
just there for the race. So it's a bit like,
is.
how long can you suffer?
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. I wanted to ask 3 top tips, or you can have a couple each. What would you say to either newbies for Hyrox or people that are experienced at racing? Do you have anything that you guys follow, or any top tips for training?
Well, I'd say my main top tip for training is definitely focus on running. And unless people are coming into this as good runners, the time you're going to make up is on the rower. If we look at our times we've got, our station work's pretty much been probably the same.
Yeah, slow.
We've just focused on getting quicker at running, and the way we'll get our time down to an hour and 5 it'll be getting quicker at running. So it's focusing on, but you can only get quicker at running. Make sure your heart rate don't go too high to then do everything else. So it's building a big aerobic base. And my number 1 tip for anybody is don't think like you have to train crazy in every session you do.
Yeah.
It's the steadier, longer, slower runs that might be boring, but they're the ones that over time, and be patient with it, over time, that's going to have the biggest effect on it. So that's my tip number 1.
Yeah, I'd say follow a plan. Obviously, it doesn't have to be Hyrox workouts, but it might want to be. No, I'd say follow a plan, or get a community, or have a partner, or pay for a coach, because actually it's worth its weight in gold. Investing in yourself, it improves your whole life. It's not just, you know, the more you get confident with it, it improves your confidence in your work abilities. So I just think invest in yourself and get a coach, or buy a plan and follow it and stick to it and trust the process.
I think when you've got a plan as well, and you know that when you're turning up, this is exactly what you need to do for the day. Or again, if you've got the Hyrox Workouts plans and you've got that 8 weeks set out ready for you, that's it. There's nothing for you to think about. You just turn up. This is what you're doing for the day. Get it done. Get out of there. Improve on what you're doing.
Yeah, it takes the questioning away, doesn't it? Like you know what you got to do. You know that it's programmed correctly, and you've got the build and like deloads and all that sort of thing, so that you're not going to overtrain or necessarily make yourself more susceptible to injury. You can just kind of go in, get the session done, and then carry on with your day.
Yeah, that's an important one as well. The 8-week specific prep plans got that taper week in. And that I think people find difficult, of going, so I need to train less, and then worried about not training enough. But that makes a big difference getting that right. I'd say my tip number 3 then would be, if it's a beginner, book a race. So I think once you've done, even if you think, rather than thinking, I'll wait till I'm X, I'll wait till I'm a little bit of a better runner, I'll wait till you'll be waiting forever. Because you're always going to go, oh yeah, but I could be this. Just do one, and then I guarantee most people will be addicted to it and go, I want to do another one. Especially in the UK, the tickets here sell like crazy, but that's a different story. But yeah, if you haven't booked a race, book a race.
And tell us if you get tickets.
And your mindset changes straight away. As soon as you know you've got a race actually booked, your mindset towards what you're doing then has to switch to, right, I'm actually doing this, rather than, I'm training a bit, I'm doing a couple of classes in the gym for Hyrox, and I've done a little bit of a run. Then all of a sudden you go, all right, I actually have to turn up and do this. And all I'd say on the back of that is as well, don't be scared to do it, because everybody there is so nice. There's such a mix of people there doing it, and it's such a good day out. And it doesn't matter if you do it in 3 hours, or before I said if you do it in an hour, but now it's getting closer to 50 minutes.
I know.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Crazy.
And what about so if someone is new to Hyrox, they started following the Hyrox Workout Instagram page, and they're seeing some of your workouts, is there something you would suggest for them to do? Maybe like start with 2 a week, or should they be looking at keywords like VO2 max or engine builder, or is there a way that the workouts are put out so people can know the best way to follow them?
Not for the Instagram page. The Instagram page is a mix of different workouts. If somebody was doing it, again, not doing this to sell programs, the Hyrox beginners program is built so you do it as a starter plan, so you build up over the 8 weeks, so you go from not doing a lot to gradually building it up to doing everything. And it's one of those ones where if people go, oh, I'll follow this workout and it's got burpees in, if you've never done burpees before and you've never done any of the other stuff before, it's then really, really, really hard if you've not done it before. If you then just go, okay, I'm just going to get used to doing a bit of running, I'm just going to get used to using the ski erg and the rower, don't even worry about wall balls and burpees. And then you go, right, okay, let's try the sled pull. Don't try it on the comp weight. It's just going to feel too heavy and be demoralizing. Just put 20 kilos on and go, oh, that's easy. All right, nice. Add another 20 kilos. Yeah, it's getting a little bit harder. Build things up slowly and enjoy it. But all the workouts that I put on an Instagram, I'll put, for most of them, do comp weight, because I can't put this person do this person do this person do this, because everybody's different. Even the surface of the floor, if somebody's pushing the sled, if they've got AstroTurf in the gym, it's completely different to doing it on a Hyrox carpet. So all I've said, if you follow any of the workouts, work to your level, do what you can do.
Ones. There's loads on YouTube, but we've started doing. They could follow YouTube if they want to just do it for bits for free, how we've done stuff.
Yeah, there's training stuff on there as well. But
yeah.
I'd say with anybody, is just adjust things so it works for you. And that goes for if it needs to be harder, that goes for it needs to be easier. It's very different if somebody's got 2 hours a week to train compared to somebody who's got 16 hours a week to train, and what you'd actually do with that training is very, very different. And we all come from different backgrounds, different levels. Make it work for you and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just because it's written down on the screen and they scroll and see the picture that says comp weight, it doesn't mean it has to be comp weight, you know, if
they're on the weekend workout, for example, I always do them as like shorter workouts, get in, get it done, get out. But on this week's one, it finished with 150 wall balls. Oh, thank you for doing 150 wall balls. That's why we do doubles. So if somebody was doing that, they might just go, I'm not going to do 150, I'm just going to do 50, 60. Whatever it is, you don't have to go, I've done exactly that program they've said.
I would, because it's on the plan. That's
your mentality.
It's my mentality all the time. I say it to you, you went, just do 10 then. Now I've got to do it what it says on the plan, even though my knees are in.
It's written down. I'm doing it.
Yeah. I have to stick to that plan to the exact. So yeah.
But with a lot of the programs as well, if somebody is doing a VO2 max workout, you will work to the level you're at.
Yeah.
If you're running as fast as you can for 4 minutes, my 4 minutes at speed 16 and dying is completely different to someone else who can run 10 kilometers at speed 16. They're going to have to do it at speed 18, 19. They're still going to be dying. If somebody's new to it, they might be running at speed 9. It's you work into your level at what you're at. And that's why we'll do it a lot. We'll be like, if you seen they've just done that marathon, and then I'll go, they're running at equivalent of speed 20 on the treadmill. I'm like, I can't even run at that speed. They've done it for a whole marathon. Or we don't compare. I suppose we take more inspiration from others and go, see how fast they can do it. Or even when we're watching the elites or the World Championships,
look at their running.
They're just crazy. When they take off at the beginning, it's like we had Adam come to the gym. Adam's decent level.
Adam Carney.
Yeah, he started training. We're doing it outside at the time. We've got like a little balancing pond bit, which is 300 meters. I thought, what's he doing? He's just sprinting. He ain't got a clue what he's doing. Oh no, that's just how fast he runs. And he just kept doing it for all of it. And you just going, all right, it's just completely different levels. But that's what's good about Hyrox. There's so many different levels.
Yeah, absolutely. It's for anyone, isn't it? Anyone at any level can give it a go, and it's very accessible to like do the running, do the movements, or go to an affiliate gym. Oh, amazing. Well, that probably leads us nicely onto the cheeky insights. So I've got 8 questions for you. I mean, you're both potentially going to be different, so you can each answer. But the first question is the one that everyone wants to know: what shoes do you wear to race Hyrox?
Well, you can answer this for both of us because we wear the same trainers.
Oh, you do wear the same.
So we wear the Hyrox Forever Run, not Hyrox. Oh my God,
Hyrox ones.
Puma Forever Runs.
I was like, oh, Hyrox have brought out a new
Yeah,
shoe.
no, that would be cool.
Here we go.
That would be cool.
This is about to get
Definitely
interesting.
Yeah, it was our idea,
Puma.
Hyrox. Yeah, so Puma Forever Runs, yeah, and that took quite a few pairs of trainers to get to that.
Yeah, so we've always gone with Puma, mainly just because we knew from the beginning they were the sort of the Hyrox trainers. They were going to have a decent grip. They're going to be decent for running. The only reason we both use the Forever Runs is because we both overpronate slightly. So that's a good thing. If anybody has any issues, either go to, I think that it's Up and Running all over the country. Up and Running, where they actually analyze your running gait. They can advise what trainers to get. It's definitely worth doing, just because if you're in the wrong trainers and you're wanting to start building up a lot, you're going to pick up injuries if you're not in the right trainers. Or you're more likely.
And they can notice stuff like you said about put an insole in your shoe. You know, they'll pick stuff up like that and can help.
Yeah, little things that can make a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. Next one. I mean, you might have already given this away, but it is, what venue is your favorite Hyrox venue?
Mine's Manchester. Obviously, we said it earlier. Mine's definitely Manchester, just probably because it's where we started, and I feel like I'm used to that place now. And I've been there. Did I go to? I think I've been there for a accounting event as well. So when I went there last year, Accountex North, that was it. It was there, and I was like, oh. This is where I do Hyrox. So
was that as wild, the accountant?
No, it definitely wasn't, unfortunately.
They have the music.
It was calm, the way I like it, nice and calm.
For me, I would have said Birmingham, but mainly only because it was a one-day event, and it meant that everybody was racing on the same day. Yeah. So it then meant you see everybody, and I like that. Whereas Birmingham's now 23 days, is it? Or whatever, they keep adding more days to it. So I think it was one day, then it was it 2 or 3? That now they've added in the Friday. So I'd then say as a venue, probably Manchester. It's located really well. It's a good building, but they're all good. They're all good.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Okay, next up is your favorite Hyrox station. Is it going to be different for each of you? Which is your favorite?
Yeah, it will be different. What's yours?
I genuinely haven't got one.
Might be the same. I was thinking that. I don't think I like any of them. When you go, you kind of go, well, I don't mind the farmer's carry because it's quick, but then you're only saying that because it's quick, not because you enjoy it. That's me.
I don't like any.
No, I'm not sure I like any of them. I like the achievement of doing it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Is there any you'd prefer when you're training? Like, would you prefer to jump on a ski than a rower? Would you prefer to?
I probably prefer the rower if I'm really
like the rower.
Yeah, but I'd have to say the rower for the easy is compared to the skier. I prefer long, slow running, and you prefer a bit of short and faster, don't you?
Yeah.
That's where we're different.
I mean, quite a good team then, like different strengths.
Yeah, definitely.
And it works well as well because we're as fit as each other, aren't we?
Yeah.
And that helps in a mixed doubles or any doubles, that you're doing it with somebody who's a pretty similar to you. Because I think if one's loads better, they're either, if you're going to split it equally, then it doesn't really work. And if the other person does way more, then it's a little bit like, well, the other person's done way less. So I think it's quite hard, but I think it's also good to try and do doubles with someone who's pretty similar to yourself.
Yeah, no, I'd agree, definitely. Well, you do a doubles Hyrox with each other, but if it wasn't with each other, is there anyone else that you would love to do a doubles Hyrox with?
Probably I'd like to do a female. Maybe I don't think I'd want to go and do the lighter weights. I've never even done them.
Right, so you'd have to do it with a bloke then.
No, pro women.
No, you can do pro. Yeah, you can do pro doubles now.
Yeah, there's someone I'd like to try one with Laura at the gym. Leave you.
Oh, right.
No one famous. No one.
Right, you're out.
Bye. Yeah, if you don't book up your ideas, I'm gone.
With Laura. Well, okay, I'm doing my next one with Michael Jordan, so you're going to fuck up your ideas.
You're about someone famous.
I am. I'll do my next one with Michael Jordan if he's free.
Yeah.
If he's listening, which he probably is.
He might be begging for a couple of years.
Yeah. Then maybe Michael Jordan.
See how famous
Love
we
that.
get.
Love that. So good. He'd be
Okay.
good at wall balls, wouldn't he?
Should-
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
it's
it
like
would
that.
just touch the target, wouldn't it? Okay, next one is, do you fuel during Hyrox, during the race? And if so, what do you use?
During the race, yeah, gels.
You do.
No.
Steve has about 4 gels through it, and
The plan's
absolutely.
to only have one, but I tend to always have one when we get to the rower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can open it on the last one, it was a nightmare. I could hardly
Oh.
open it. You got someone to open yours, didn't you?
Yeah, always. That's the first time I gel was Manchester. Normally, I have either nothing or 1 Skittle in my pocket because I'm that scared to feel sick. one big fat Skittle in my pocket that's melted, so I just ran that in. When honestly, it's so random. So I thought, right, I'm going to be a professional now and have gel in January. And I think I only had half of it because I still worry that, because ideally you don't really need it, do you? For an hour and 10.
A couple of gels.
You had
really
3
good.
on one of them, I swear you did, and you
No,
were
I'd have
jittery.
had one on the rower and then one, I don't know, lunges or just somewhere where I get a little break.
Oh, I can't
And then
believe
we don't stop for a drink. We definitely don't
Okay.
stop for Red Bull.
No, I don't even have a sip.
I don't think I've ever met anybody who has stopped for Red Bull.
Oh, would you?
Or they've accidentally drank it on the way around and thought, what on earth?
What
I know.
stitch.
But no, we don't. The only time we've had water is if literally there was nobody there and could just quickly grab one and sip it and put it in the bin.
Well, I don't.
We
I leave
wouldn't-
you.
we
If I
wouldn't
see you running
stop.
that water, I'll be fuming because we ain't got time.
No, every second counts.
Every
But no,
second
that's
counts.
not advice. Some people get you water then.
Yeah, you need to be hydrated, kids.
Yeah.
I mean, we did that for our first one. I think I drank water every time. I was like, I just need more water. I just need more water.
No,
Then I think we like cut off loads of time just by not stopping for water.
No, it does. It makes
I was
all
having
the
a little
difference.
picnic every time I went past. I was like, get to the table.
We'll always have electrolytes in water beforehand.
Yeah.
Good tip.
There's only one time that kind of messed up with nutrition for it.
Oh,
And that was at
God.
Birmingham. We were at the hotel opposite it at the NEC.
We're pigs.
There wasn't much on the food menus. Like, I would have a little bit of pizza.
No, we didn't say a little bit. We
I'm not good at wasting anything. So before I knew it, I'd eaten all this pizza. And I was thinking,
It
oh,
was bad.
this
Oh.
don't too good.
You went to bed on a bad belly, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Oh.
not good advice. Don't have a massive
is-
pizza the night before.
Thing is, and
We're better now.
I had an Easter egg the night before. Which one was it?
All of
the
them?
January 23 one. So that's where we've like picked up on our nutrition a bit because we've been pigs before it. That's why I was like, right, we're going to sort it
Our
out.
food was bang on though for the last one. wasn't
Yeah, it was better.
We were good. We took food and we were
Yeah.
better.
And it obviously worked. So
Yeah.
I mean, what I want to know is, was your Easter egg from the last Easter, or did you manage to buy an Easter egg in
No,
January?
there was an Easter in January. There was
Oh,
one
okay.
at Tesco in Manchester. I was like, I'm having that. It was
That's
the
all
big
right.
old one. I'll never forget it.
Oh dear.
okay, next one is, what's your favorite training session for Hyrox, or style of training format?
Mine's probably, I just like doing the long, slow runs randomly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you hate that's his
No,
hate.
that'd be my worst one. I like the hard ones. I quite like the VO2 max ones when I'm sitting on the treadmill shaking a bit, thinking, what am I
horrible.
doing? I don't know. There's something I like about,
Going mental.
yeah,
So
pushing
for-
myself.
For someone that isn't quite sure about VO2 max training, give a quick summary of that training. Like, what are you pushing hard for?
So
Like,
an
represent-
ideal, so anywhere between 3 and 8 minutes is what you'd be working for. So we'll normally do them for around 4 at the moment if we're running. And the idea is when you do it, you stick to pretty much the same speed throughout generally. But the speed at the beginning, you should be doing it thinking, oh, this doesn't feel too bad. Then at halfway you go, no, this is actually quite bad. And then towards the end, you go, and I can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't. This is stupid. What am I doing this for?
Yeah.
And then you finish and then you go, oh.
And then you've got a 4-minute rest and then
And
you
then
do
you
it
have-
again.
Yeah, to be able to do it properly, you then have to have a 4-minute rest to be able to repeat it. So that's like your top end fitness. But that, if you're doing any training, you only want to be doing that for about 20% if you're training. 80% of your training should be your slower, steadier stuff, especially if you're training more hours. So if somebody was training 10 hours a week, you're looking at 8 hours a week being steady zone 2 stuff, and then 2 hours of it being your anaerobic threshold runs or VO2 max work.
Perfect. That's a
Awesome.
good insight for anyone listening on how to split it up. And that was a very good description of how you feel throughout the 4 minutes. I like that. Okay, next one is, in a nutshell, why should someone sign up for their first Hyrox?
Well, you said all that earlier. Go on, sure.
I just think it's brilliant. Even if somebody looks at what the workout is, and this is what I say to anybody who's doing any of the training for it, if you can do this training in the gym, you will absolutely love the events, because there's no atmosphere like it. The only time people would have had atmosphere like it is, I think, when they're not actually involved in it, unless they've been lucky enough to be a top level athlete competing, which most people who are doing Hyrox haven't. So the only other time you'd have experienced any atmosphere like that is if you've gone to watch a big football match, or you've gone to watch a big sporting event, and then you're part of the atmosphere. Hyrox, you're actually part of the atmosphere, and you get to do it. And so you've got, say, just the music, the venues, the people. I don't know. I can't speak more highly of it for what it actually is, but it is horrendous at the same time, and that's the beauty of it. Nobody's doing Hyrox and going, that was really nice. Everybody's doing it and going, that was horrendous, and then going, actually, but I love doing it and I love everything about it.
Type 2 fun. Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely love it when you finish. But...
Yeah, definitely. Get your patch.
Yeah. Okay, and lastly, is there anyone that you would like to see on our podcast that we could interview that you'd like to know a bit more about in the Hyrox world? Is there anyone?
I know who some of your favourite Hyroxers are. So
Yeah.
I can guess who you're going to say. Lucy Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd be so good I think she's just flown out to LA though to do that speed project right now.
Oh, I know.
That looks crazy.
350 miles or something.
Yeah, there's quite a few teams going out, isn't there? Running from LA to Las Vegas through Death Valley. That'd be cool to watch.
Yeah, I'd tell somebody it'd be good to get on here if you just wanted to do one purely about training. It'd be Joel Jameson. He's someone who I've learned a lot of stuff from. He's brilliant. He's not Hyrox. His main things are UFC fighting and conditioning for fighters. But his actual most of the stuff that I do, his stuff's got a big element to play in it. I've learned from a lot of coaches over the years. I've been lucky enough to learn from a lot of really, really good people who've influenced what I do. But his stuff's probably the most influential, I'd say.
Oh, that's awesome as well. Like awesome to get different people and different spaces, and like you said, learn from different people and bring it into. That's probably one of the most exciting things about Hyrox, I think, at the moment, because it's so young. Is everyone's training in different ways and everyone's coming from a different background.
Yeah.
No one's like grown up as a Hyrox athlete. So people are CrossFitters, people are boxers, people are runners, and it's just seeing how people like create, design, and work their training in to get faster and stronger.
That's what makes it interesting as well. You've got the lady who did the Hyrox at the weekend, who was the CrossFit, who came in and smashed it and won it.
Oh,
and then you'll have and she, we've just gone. She's not done any of this. Or she might have done some training for it, but her background has allowed her to just smash it. And then you've got professional footballers or ex-professional footballers coming into it and then doing amazing as well. I think you've got Vernon Kay.
Is he doing London? Did someone say?
I think so.
You've got Vernon Kay coming in from his background. He'll smash it.
Yeah.
But no, we've got...
He'll get the crowd going, won't he?
No, I don't think so. I think as well, obviously you've got some of the gladiators who've been on the telly.
Yeah.
Quite a few of them have done it. And I think I've got a feeling Jamie the Giant might be he's either doing London or Birmingham. And I bet he'll be doing it with steel.
Yeah.
And Jamie's massive. He trained at my old gym. And I've never seen a person as big as him in my life.
Yeah, I mean, he looks big on TV, doesn't he?
He's big. He's just ridiculous.
Need to watch it.
So yeah, it just gets a good mix of people, and I think it's just going to get quicker and quicker. I think it's showing him what a good time used to be sub an hour. Now it's like,
it's just growing and growing, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah.
So where's the best place for people to find you, follow you? What's your Instagram, your YouTube, or get your programs, etc., etc.?
Hyrox Workout. It's got a bit of a running theme to all of this. Hyrox Workouts on Instagram, Hyrox Workouts on YouTube, and Hyrox Workouts, www.hyrox Workouts for the internet, where you can get all the programs on the website and get all the programs. But YouTube's probably what we're trying to push the most at the moment. Just trying to put more stuff out there on that.
Get sponsored.
And it's probably the hardest one to try and grow on, especially compared to Instagram. But we're trying to put more stuff on YouTube.
We'll make sure we put links in the description so people can just go and find that.
Oh,
and we'll obviously
you.
share it on our Instagram as well.
Are you guys on YouTube?
We are on YouTube,
brilliant.
just as ourselves as like Rad Chicks rather than Rad Hyrox, but we'll put this video up on YouTube as the podcast. And then your gym is in Newark, Code Fitness.
Yeah, gym's in.
If anyone's passing and needs to find a Hyrox affiliated gym.
Yeah, Hyrox affiliated gym, and it's an amazing gym, I can say. I reckon it's up there for one of the best gyms in the country.
Yeah, we're gonna have to come and do a visit, aren't we? I mean, it's a long way from Scotland, but we'll be down there at some point, I'm sure. We'll make sure.
That'd be good. And if you want an accountant, follow Future Cloud.
There we go. You know, people are probably looking for an accountant. People are always looking for good accountants. So Future Cloud, there you go. Yeah. Get it in, get your workout done, get your accounts done.
That's it. Come on.
File your tax return.
Yeah.
Dream team. Oh well, guys, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it, especially because you are so busy and you're juggling businesses, you're juggling racing, you're juggling kids, and growing your Instagram and your YouTube pages. Really appreciate your Instagram and you setting it up, because it's definitely helped us and a lot of people we know that have tried to get into Hyrox to give them inspiration in their workouts. Thank you to everyone for listening. Hopefully it's given everyone a bit of an idea of the guys behind the Hyrox Workouts page, which is nice to get to know you better. Make sure you follow them, Hyrox Workouts on Instagram and YouTube, Rad Chicks for us on Instagram and YouTube, and share this far and wide on your socials, and we'll bring another awesome guest to you next time.